Sit down. Sit down right there. I want to sit down. Stop.
All right, Shalom, Israel, where the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanan. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right, tonight's class is the Lashawan Qadash class. All right, we're going to pick up where we left off. All right, the Lashawan Qadash class. Something very, very important, man. This is an important thing to learn within our community. Like, this is a part of establishing the kingdom of heaven. To learn how to speak the Hebrew and to speak the Lashawan Qadash is a very important particular part into building up the kingdom of heaven. Remember last class, to build, meaning banah. We went over that, right? Last class. To build is banah. Right? So this is how you banah the kingdom of heaven. Right? This is how you banah. This is how you banah the community. This is how you banah the household. This is how you banah Black, Hispanic, and Native American homes. This is how you banah the kingdom of heaven. This is how you banah yourself up. You learn how to speak the Hebrew language. You learn how to speak the Lashawan Qadash. All right. This all plays a part. All right, and we have to take it serious. Get started in a few. Make sure everything is good to go. We're gonna go off where we left off at. Alright, also don't forget to sign in and check in. Alright, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, do not forget to sign in or check in. Right, name, city, and state. Do not forget to check in and sign in. Alright, so tonight's class is the Hebrew. Alright, this is the Hebrew class. This is the Lashawan Qadash class. This is where you learn your language. This is where we learn how to speak the language of our forefathers and our ancestors. All right, like this is the same language that Abraham spoke, Isaac spoke, Jacob spoke, then his name became Israel. Like the Israelites spoke Hebrew, Christ spoke Hebrew, Peter spoke Hebrew, Paul in the Bible, he spoke Hebrew. Like this is the language of our ancestors. This is the language that we all need to learn. Like, we never spoke English. There was at one point in time that we never spoke English. There was one point in time that we didn't speak Spanish. Like, these are the languages of our oppressor. Just like back in the day, we all didn't speak, we were all forced. At one point in time, we all didn't speak Latin. We all didn't speak the Greek language. We spoke specifically and particularly the Hebrew language. It wasn't until captivity after captivity, being under the Greeks and under the Romans, we learned how to speak Greek and Latin. These were the languages of our oppressor. But now this is the language of our forefathers, of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the children of Israel. Like, if you don't know by now, if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you are God's chosen people. You are the children of Israel according to the scriptures. All right. So where we left off was bakwash, meaning to search out. All right. We left off at bakwash. All right, to search out. We're going to get the next word. All right. Remember, when it comes to learning the Lashawan Qadash, you want to learn as many words as you can. You want to learn as many words as you can. Specifically, we're going to learn as many verbs as you can. You need, in order to get to when you want to structure sentences, all right, a sentence requires, all right, a sentence requires particular aspects in order to build that sentence and to structure that sentence correctly. Like, that's what's needed. And specifically, you need verbs in order to structure a sentence. When you try to structure a sentence, you need a form of an action at times. Or sometimes you just need a possession, showing ownership of something. Like, these are particular parts that structure sentences. Right? This is what gives a sentence, I guess you could say, meaning. All right? These are the things that you need. You want to learn as many verbs as you can. Why? Because verbs make sentences. Verbs structure sentences. Verbs give a sentence purpose. Literally, you need to learn as many verbs as you can. The more verbs that you know, the better. Then eventually learn as many words as you can. You want to learn as many words as you can. The more words you know, the better. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state. All right, sign in, check in. Do not forget to put your name, city, and state. So we're going to get the next word on the board. All right. So the word that we got on the board now is galah. All right, this is the next word that's on the board. It's galah. All right, galah, galah. Don't forget to sign in and check in. Put your name, city, and state. All right, name, city, and state. Don't forget. So galah. All right, next word is galah, which means to uncover. All right, which means to uncover. So what you have right here, right? Which is galah. This is your God in the paleo. Like, this is your paleo script, and this is your ancient script. Like this was the script that we originally wrote in. Because of captivity, specifically the Assyrian captivity, this is the script that we are now used to. Now this is called the Assyrian script. The Paleo script, the Assyrian script, the ancient script, the modern script. So this is your Ga, this is your La, this is your Ha. This is your Ga, this is your La, this is your Ha. You put it together, it's Gala. Gala, meaning to uncover. So if you were trying to uncover something, like it could be uncover your body, uncover your mind, anything that you're trying to uncover, right? Not take off, not to take, because that's something completely different. But if you're trying to uncover yourself, right, which could mean to take off, but the verb to take is something completely different. If you want to uncover yourself and say, I'm uncovering myself, and you can mean that spiritually, you can mean that literally, it doesn't matter. This is the word for it, which is gala, meaning to uncover. Gala, gala, meaning to uncover. We want to learn as many verbs as we can, because this is how you structure sentences. This is how we end up building sentences. We want to know verbs. We want to know actions, because our bodies were always doing something. We're always trying to tell someone what we did, what we didn't do, what we're going to do, what we will do, or whatever happened. Like we're always explaining situations which involve verbs, which involves actions. So we want to learn as many verbs as possible. Like we're going to get through all the 100 common verbs. All right, we're going to go through all of them. All right, in different classes, of course, because we may not get to all of them, but we're going to get to as many as we can as possible. And you want to commit these to memory. You want to be able to memorize these. You want to be able to be like ahab is love and akal is eat and abad is to perish and bana is to build and you want to go to what is it? Sap is to gather. I said bana is to build. Bayan is to understand. You want to be like bakwash is to search out. Bawa'a is to come. Things like that. Like you want to be able to commit these to memory. Commit this to memory. You want to memorize it. One word a day and memorize it and use it throughout the day. And this is how you can memorize it. Like we want to zakar this. Zakar meaning to remember. We want to zakar this as much as possible. We want to zakar this as much as we can, meaning to remember. Zakar meaning to remember. We want to zakar as much verbs as we can, because this is what's going to teach us and how to be proficient and fluent in speaking the Hebrew language. Like we want to do it, and we want to make sure we do it. Most High in Christ. Now let's get it. Now let's get the next verb. So you can use the verb gala, meaning to uncover in any instance. Or any instant. At any time. So now what we have on the board now is the bar. So next what we have on the board is the bar. All right, the bar. Everyone can see that that's the bar, right? Most High in Christ, the bar. So this is your da. This is your da. This is your ba. This is your ra. Right? This is your da. This is your ba. This is your ra. When you put it together, that's dabar. This spells dabar. Dabar, which is dabar, meaning to speak. Like you would use the word dabar to speak, meaning when you are speaking something, you would say dabar. When you want to say something, right, or you're saying that I'm speaking to someone, right, you would use the word dabar. If you say I'm saying something, then you would use the word amar. So amar is to say, dabar is to speak. Now sometimes they can be interchangeable. I was explaining this last class. Sometimes different brothers and sisters, depending where they come from and where they live, we use different words for different things. Dabar means to speak. Amar means to say. All right? They have the similar meaning to them, right? They have the very same similar meaning. But depending on the context, you might want to use the bar. Depending on the context, you might want to say amar, meaning to say. You can judge that yourself. If I say, well, I was speaking to someone, you would use the bar. If you're saying, I said this to someone, you would use the verb amar. All right? Even though they mean similar things, and sometimes they can be interchangeable, but that depends on the context. All right? So it says, the bar meaning to speak. Right? The bar meaning to speak. You'll find the word dabar and amar in the very same sentence, right? When it says the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Waya dabar Yahweh. Right? It would be like, Waya dabar Yahweh Mashah Amar. Y'all remember that? Waya Amar Yahweh. Mashah Amar. I might be missing maybe one or two words there. Waya dabar Yahweh, Waya dabar Yahweh la Mashah. Al Mashah la Mashah wa Amar. Something like that. So this is dabar, meaning to speak. Dabar, meaning to speak. Waya dabar Yahweh Mashah la Amar. I might just have to look it up because now it's going to bother me because that's one of the main sentences throughout the Bible. Well, not throughout the Bible, but especially from Exodus to Deuteronomy. You're going to hear, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying. You'll see that throughout I promise you, from Exodus to Deuteronomy. And the Lord said unto Moses, saying. And that one line is literally saying, Waya dabar Yahweh. Waya dabar Yahweh Mashallah Amar. Alright, next we're going to get is the verb darash. Alright, darash. Warrior. Next we're going to get is darash. So Galah is to uncover. The bar is to speak. Now we're going to get is darash, meaning to seek. And get darash. All right. So now we have on the board is darash, meaning to seek. Darash, meaning to seek. If you guys have any questions too, let's put it into the live chat. If you have any questions, if you want to know a word that you may not know or you have problems on pronouncing as well, you can definitely put that into the live chat and I'll definitely answer your question. So now you have darash on the board. This is your da, this is your ra, this is your sha. This is your da, this is your ra, this is your sha. Darash. Darash meaning to seek. So you would use the word darash meaning to seek. Right? So if you're trying to seek for information or seek a new way or to seek something out, you can use darash. Now, once again, sometimes different words can be interchangeable. Sometimes you can be like, well, I'm searching out. I'm searching out for information. I'm searching out. Depending on the context, you can use bakwash instead of darash. Sometimes they can be interchangeable depending on the context. Now, bakwash, meaning to search out, means you're searching out usually for someone or something. To seek is more so information. That's really the difference. Even though they have similarities, depending on the context, they can be used in the same place. But in most cases, to seek is really talking about like knowledge or information. Bakwash, to search out, is more so for you're looking for a person or a city or some land. Like you would use bakwash in that case. But darash would be used if you're seeking out information. But they can be interchangeable at times. All right, depending on the context, they're interchangeable. All right, like you might want to say darash, and I like to say bakwash more. But sometimes, depending on the scenario, I have to say bakwash because it calls for the word bakwash. Some scenarios, I have to say darash because it calls to use darash. That's not judgmental. Use your own discretion. That's discretional. All right, but there are cases where it will call for darash and it will call for bakwash. But you want to make sure you're using it correctly. All right. Darash meaning to seek. All right. Darash meaning to seek. Okay, what is the words for cave dweller? All right, cave dweller, my, to, be, and or. Okay. I'm gonna give you my, to, be, and or, and or. Were you asking and the word and as well, saying or did you like or do you already know and? If not, I'll just put it up there anyway. All right, so real quick. All right, there's a question online. I'm going to get the cave dweller in a bit. All right. Okay, most sign correct. So I'm gonna put them all on the board. All right. I'm gonna put them all on the board real quick. So now, all right. So my. Yah is my. Yah is my. But it will never be by itself. It will always be attached. It will always be attached to a noun. It will always be attached to a noun because it's showing possession, all right? So my, meaning Yah, will always be attached to a noun. Okay? You have la, which is two. So your la, which is two. This will also never be by itself. It will always be attached to something. It could be a noun, a verb, or another letter, which means something too as well. And we'll get that into another lesson when we're getting into possessive pronouns. All right. All right. No sweat. I most definitely will. So la is to. All right. Your la is to. That will always be attached to a verb or a noun. All right. Okay, now you have is haya, which is to be. All right, haya, which is to be. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, no sweat. Well, it's on the board now. Most High in Christ. Okay, no sweat. So this is to be, which is haya. All right, my bad. So haya meaning to be. Now you know la if you didn't know already, but haya, which is to be. All right, haya, which is to be. So if you want to be something, you would say haya, which is a verb. This is a verb. Like this is a verb. To be something, right, is haya. Haya. All right. All right. Making sure we got that. All right. Next, what we have on the board, next is wa. Wa will always be in front of a noun or a verb. Wa will always be in front of a noun or a verb. Wa meaning and. All right, this will be in front of a word or a verb. It will never be by itself. It'll never be by itself. Wa. All right, so you have ya, la, haya, and wa. All right. Next, what we have on the board is ow. Ow. Ah, and the wa. Ow. Ow. At the end, you don't pronounce the wa. It's ow. It's almost like you cut it short. Ow. Right? All. All right? All. So, pronounce it as all. 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 If you say it really quickly, it would almost sound like you're saying or. But you're saying oh. You want to make it almost sound like you're saying or, but you're not really saying or. But it's oh. Okay? Oh. So you'd be like, kan or la'a. Kan or la'a. It almost sounds like I'm saying or, but I'm not really saying or. I'm saying kan or la'a. Alright? Alright? So, or la'a, right? Kan or la'a. You see how I'm saying or as if I'm saying or, but I'm not really saying or, I'm saying or. Kan or la'a. It almost sounds like I'm saying or. That's how you pronounce it, or. All right, kan or la'a. I'm still saying kan, yes or no. Kan or la'a. Yes or no. That's how that all sounds like. All right. Most High in Christ. All right. Now the next is cave dweller. All right. I believe you can say, 1 second. I must say, hold on 1 second. So Adawam is Edom. All right. But I want to double check. Double check that. All right, so then we're going to get cave dweller. All right, cave dweller. All right. All right. Then you have, I'm going to write it in the paleo. Kagal, select Kagal, I'm missing a letter there. Salaki, 1 sec, I got you. All right, then you have Shakan Chagal. Shakan Chagar, meaning cave dweller. Shakan Chagar. All right. All right. Shakan Chagar. Shakan Chagar, meaning cave dweller. All right. Shakan Chagar. Shakan Chagar, meaning cave dweller. All right. Chagar. All right. All right. Cave dweller. Chagar. All right. Then you have, okay, to understand also well done. All right. So well done, you can literally, to say well done, you would literally say tawab. So for well done, it's definitely tawab. All right. The word done is Aisha though. All right. So bayan is to understand. All right, bayan. That's the most common. All right. So now, well done. So to understand, let's get to understand real quick. Bayan. We went over this last class though, but that's no sweat. That's no sweat at all. So bayan. All right. Bayan is to understand. Alright, so bayan meaning to understand, alright? Bayan is to understand. This is your ba, your ya, your na. Bayan meaning to understand. Alright? Bayan meaning to understand. Alright, so bayan, then we're going to get is well done. Alright, well done. Alright, well done. Let's get it for it. Let's get well done. You can either use tawab or yatab, but we're going to get it for you. Well done, or do as well. Alright. Thaya. Alright. To say well done, literally be thaya tayab. Alright. Thaya tayab. Thaya tayab. Alright? Ba, ya, ta, ya, ba. Ta. This is your ya. This is your ta. This is your ya. This is your ba, which is ta, ya, ta, ya, ta, ya. Equals, which equals well done. So, like how General Hyman says, well done, Thaya to ya. Alright, Thaya to ya. Thaya to ya. Alright. Thaya to ya. You can say Thaya to wa, or you can say Tha ya to ya. Ya to ya. Tha ya to ya. Tha ya to ya. Thaya to wa. It's like it's to wa. Thaya to ya. Thaya to ya. Thaya to ya. Thaya to ya meaning well done. Alright, I'll give y'all time to write that down. Thaya to ya meaning well done. Alright. Okay, words. I would like to know the words stop, that, and this. Alright, that and this. Got it. Qadal is to stop, that is hawa'a, and za is this, but I'll get it on the board after this. Let me know when you guys are done copying this, or for the sister that wanted this question to be answered, let me know once you got this into your notes. Alright? Let me know when you got this into your notes or you're good, so we can move on to the word stop, that, and this. We'll get that next. Qadal is to stop, hawa'a is that, and za is this. But thaya tayyab, alright, thaya tayyab, meaning well done. Thaya tayyab is well done. Or doest well. In the Bible, in Old English, it would say doest well. Thou doest well. Doest well, or well done. Alright? Thaya tayyab. Doest well. Alright? Thaya tayyab. Thaya tayyab. Thaya tayyab meaning well done. Alright? Thaya tayyab meaning well done. Thaya tayyab. Alright? Okay, Most High in Christ. Most High. So now we're going to get the next ones that you asked for. Aqua. And we'll get it to you. Alright. This is a verb. Stop is a verb. To stop something is a verb, by the way. Alright, which is Qadal. Got your cha. Got your da. Got your la. Qadal. Qadal. Qadal meaning to stop. If you want your children to stop, or someone to stop something, you would say Qadal. Alright? Qadal. No sweat. No sweat. Qadal meaning to stop. Qadal. This is your cha, your da, and your la. Qadal. Qadal. Alright? Qadal. So if you be like, hey, Qadal, that means everyone stop. Or you're telling everyone to stop. Qadal. Alright? Qadash, saying stop. Alright? Now, of course, you can just say Qadash. But once we start getting into sentence structuring, then we'll get more into an advanced way to tell someone, specifically you, to stop, or I stopped, or tell him to stop, and all, or y'all learning verbs. This Qadash, I don't think, right, Qadash isn't mostly used, all right? So this is not a common verb. So any verbs that you may have seen here already, they may or may not be in the, well, actually, I know for sure Qadash isn't in the 100 common verbs, actually. All right? So this is not a most common verb, by the way, everybody. So this is like a, if you know it, you know. If you study, then you know it. It's not something that will be in the 100 most common verbs. It's not commonly used. But, go ahead, person.
Can I have some water?
Qadash, meaning to stop. Qadash. All right. Let's get, I believe it was that and this. You get with that, or you can get with this. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I don't know. I forgot how it goes. You can get with this, or you, yeah, I said it right the second time. You can get with this, or you can get with that. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. Ha. Word. So now you have is ha ha wa ah. All right, ha ha wa ah. This is your ha, your wa, and your ah. You literally pronounce it ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah meaning that. So you want to say that, ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah meaning that. Ha ha wa ah. All right, ha ha wa ah. The more you say it, the faster it'll get. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. Try to say it as many times as you can. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. That. Ha ha wa ah is that. Alright. Ha ha wa ah meaning that. Alright. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa ah. This is your ha, your wa, and your ah. Ha ha wa ah meaning that. Alright. Ha ha wa ah. Then, all right, ha ha wa ah. Ha ha wa and ah, meaning that. Ha ha wa ah. Then we're going to get an easy one. All right, which is za. Za. All right, za. Za. You got your ha. Za. Ha. Put it together. Za equals this. Za is this. Za. Za is this. This is za. Alright? Za meaning this. Za. Alright? Za. Za with a ha. Za meaning this. Alright? So you got Qadash, ha ha wa ah, and za. Meaning this. Did I get all the questions? Did I get all your questions? Anyone else? Let me know. Shakara, man, have the PDF. Oh yeah, okay, no sweat. I'll definitely give you the PDF. No sweat, no sweat. If I haven't sent it to you already, I'll most definitely send you the PDF. You have is za, which is this. Anything else? If so, we'll get back to the verbs. Let me know if there's anything else. Is that everything for you, Aqua? To make sure I get everything selected. Let me know. And I'll get back to the verbs. Okay, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. All right. So where we left off was Darash, meaning to seek. Darash, meaning to seek. All right, let's get the next. All right, let's get the next on the board. What I'm going to get is halak. 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 What we have on the board now is halak. All right, halak. This is your ha. This is your la. This is your ka. This is your ha. This is your la. This is your ka. Right. This is the ka that goes at the end of a word. This is the ka that's being used at the end of the word, all right, which is halak. All right, halak. Halak meaning to walk. Halak meaning to walk. So you would use halak if you're walking somewhere. You can even sometimes use halak if you're going to walk somewhere. There's another verb that I believe is coming up soon that can be interchangeable depending on the context. Specifically, all right, specifically, if you want to say I'm walking somewhere or I walked here or whatever the case may be, you will use the verb halak. You will use the verb halak when it's necessary or when it calls for it. All right, just like any other word that may have similarities, right? You will only use it. You will only use this word, all right, when it calls for it or when it's necessary. But sometimes this word can be interchangeable with another word which is pronounced yalak, meaning to go. Yalak, meaning to go. Very similar. Halak is to walk, yalak would be to go. They're very two easy verbs to remember. To zakar, right? Halak, meaning to walk. So halak, meaning to walk. So if you're walking somewhere, you would say halak. All right. If you're walking somewhere, you would say halak. All right. Halak, meaning to walk. Halak, meaning to walk. Yalak. Yalak, meaning to walk. Alright, yalak, meaning to walk. Alright. Alright, yalak. Halak. It's like a halak, meaning to walk. Alright, now we got is halal. You got your ha, your la, another la. Ha, la. Alright, so what we have on the board now is halal. Alright, halal. And I'm going to go ahead and break it down in a bit. Halal, meaning to shine. Halal, meaning to shine. Alright, halal, 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 meaning to shine. Halal, meaning to shine. Alright, halal, meaning to shine. Alright, so halal meaning to shine. So you have your ha, your la, and your la. Your ha, your la, and your la. Halal meaning to shine. Now you will use this word, you will use the word halal in different cases. Halal is a word where it's more so, instead of always using it in a literal, you can use this verb in a literal tense. You can also use this verb in a spiritual tense. To shine. It can also mean to praise. Alright? There's two verbs that are similar to each other. Halal, pronounced the same. To shine, to praise. Alright? The reason why to shine and to praise can mean the very same thing. Because when you praise something, you are giving good, more so, you're giving good. When you praise is something that you do, all right? And it doesn't necessarily deal with singing and dancing, all right? Praising is literally using a voice. You could just be praising by talking, right? And bringing something to the light that someone has done. And that's the praise. By you telling and talking to somebody about what they have done or what they have did or what they did, which is halal, meaning to shine or to praise. That's in the Lashawan Qadash, that's in the Hebrew. Alright? Halal meaning to shine or to praise. Right? Because when you praise, you're literally trying to bring something out about someone or something and what happened. You're bringing it to the light. Shine, meaning you're bringing light to something. There's something that's lighting up the place. That's where halal comes through, to shine. Alright, to shine. Halal, meaning to shine. Halal meaning to shine. This is Yaha, Yalah, and Yalah. Yaha, Yalah, and Yalah. Halal meaning to shine, to praise. Right? To shine, to praise. Halal. Now this halal has nothing to do with the Muslims' halal. Not necessarily. What we have now is harag. Harag. All right, harag. Harag. Everybody understand it? Harag, meaning to kill. This is your ha, this is your ra, this is your ga. This is your ha, this is your ra, this is your ga. Harag, meaning to kill. Harag. Harag, meaning to kill. So if you are trying to kill something, all right, and it could be literally anything. You can even use this in a spiritual context of to kill. You would use the word harag. All right. You would definitely use the word harag, meaning to kill. All right. Harag, meaning to kill. Harag. You're trying to kill something spiritually or literally. You would use the word harag. All right. Harag. Harag. Right. Harag means to kill. Harag, meaning to kill. Harag. Next we're going to get is Zabak. Zabak. Now you have is zabak. Zabak. Alright, you have zabak, which is to sacrifice. Zabak, to sacrifice. This is your za, this is your ba, this is your cha. This is your za, this is your ba, this is your cha. Zabak. Zabak, meaning to sacrifice. Zabak, meaning to sacrifice. You can use this in a literal or spiritual context. I'm going to make a sacrifice. Right? You can say zabak. Or I'm going to sacrifice. Zabak. I'm going to whatever. I am the sacrifice. Let's say that. Zabak. Alright? You would use the word zabak. This could be a verb or a noun at times. Alright? Zabak, meaning to sacrifice. Right? Zabak. I'm going to sacrifice. You would use the word zabak. Zabak can be spiritual or literal. So that's now with that being said, that is discretional. Alright, that is discretional. Zabak, to sacrifice. Zabak. Zabak. You see that? Zabak. Not zabak. Zabak. Not zabak. Zabak. You hear that? You hear that at the end? That. That's because it's the cha. Alright? You don't want to pronounce it as a ka like zabak. Zabak. You don't want to say zabak. You don't want to say zabak. You want to say zabak. Zabak. Zabak, meaning to sacrifice. Alright? It might be a little difference to get used to. The more you speak the language, the more the differences you're going to be able to speak when it comes to the pronunciations of these letters. Alright? Like zabak, not zabak. Like you see how there's more emphasis on the zabak instead of zabak. Alright? Zabak, zabak. Zabak, zabak. Zabak, zabak. Zabak, zabak, zabak. You see how I stop kind of zabak, zabak, then zabak, 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 zabak. It's kind of, you'll get used to it. Zabak, 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 zabak. It's like it has a ka. That ka has like a ka sound, right? Zabak, right? But then this has a k sound, zabak. Alright? It's a little to get used to. All right. The one that we were just going over, zabak, to sacrifice. Now these verbs go in order. Remember, you want to also practice this on your off time too. Practice on your off time too as well. Right? Practice this on your off time. Now you have the verb zakar. Zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar. This is your za, this is your ka, this is your ra. Zakar. This is your za, this is your ka, this is your ra. Zakar. Zakar, meaning to remember. So you would use this if you want to remember something or to memorize something. This is the word to remember, memorize, zakar. So if you want to memorize something or to remember something, you would say zakar. All right, you would use the word zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar. Right, zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar, meaning to remember. Zakar. All right, let's get chazak. Chazak. Remember, these verbs, they go in order. All right, they're in alphabetical order. In accordance with the Hebrew alphabet. All right, they are in alphabetical order according to the Hebrew alphabet. All right, to the Hebrew alphabet, let's get chazak. Meaning to seize. Chazak. Chazak. All right, chazak, meaning to seize. I believe that I might be first. It's a lot, dude. No, I'm correct. Seize, to seize, chazak, meaning to seize. Chazak, meaning to seize. Chazak, to seize, all right? Chazak, meaning to seize. So this is your cha, this is your za, this is your kwa. This is your cha, this is your za, this is your kwa. Remember, cha is pronounced cha. You want to get used to that. Cha, almost like you're coughing up a loogie. Cha, 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 cha. Pronounce it together. Chazak. 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 Meaning to seize. Meaning you would use this if you're trying to seize a city, seize something, meaning you're trying to take control of something, to seize, to put a stop to something, to seize. When you seize a city, you're trying to take over that city, to stop that city from doing something. You're trying to seize it. All right? To seize, meaning chazak, chazak, to seize. All right? So if you want to tell someone, I'm seizing this city, or I'm trying to cease this from existence, whatever the case may be, chazak is to seize. You can use this in a literal or spiritual text. Chazak. Chazak. That's a real strong word to use. Chazak. Like chazak. Chazak. Meaning to seize. Chazak. Alright, chazak. Chazak. Meaning to seize. All right. Next, we're going to get on the word. I'm not on the word. We're going to get on the board next. Is chata. Alright, chata. Chata. Alright, chata. Chata. It's like a chata'a. 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 Alright. Alright, chata'a, meaning to err. Chata'a. Chata'a. Chata'a, meaning to err. Chata'a, meaning to err. Chata'a, meaning to make an error. So this is your cha, your ta, and your ah. This is your cha, your ta, and your ah. Chata'a. Chata'a, meaning to err. Chata'a. Chata'a, meaning to err. Meaning to make an error. So if someone is making an error or doing something wrong, which would be a sin at times, the word would be used as chata'a, meaning to err. So you can use this when someone is making an error or a mistake or doing something wrong. In the case of making an error, you would use chata'a. Alright, chata'a, meaning to error, to err. Chata'a, meaning to err. Chata'a, to err. You would use that word in the text of if someone is making a mistake or error or doing something wrong, in the text of making an error, meaning to err. Chata'a. Right? Chata'a. In the Bible, most majority of the time, when it says to err, the word is chata'a, and usually it's referencing someone did something wrong against the Lord, which would be a sin. All right, this is not the word for sin, but in most cases it's referring to someone sinning, meaning to err. Because to make an error, in some cases in the Bible, it could be you sinning, and that's your error, meaning your error, chata'a. All right, chata'a, meaning to error, chata'a. Chata'a, to err. All right, let's get it. All right, let's get the next one is chaya. Chaya. All right, let's get it. Chaya. Chaya. This is your cha, your ya, your ha. Chaya. All right. Chaya. Ha again. Ya. Ha. Put it together. Ha. Ya. Ha. Ya. Meaning to live. To live. To live is chaya. Alright? Chaya. Chaya. Meaning to live. Right? This is your cha, your ya, and your ha. This is your cha, your ya, and your ha, and it's pronounced chaya. Chaya meaning to live. So if you want to live, meaning like as in literally living, like a living organism, or like you living, breathing wise, chaya. Like the word life comes from chaya. Right? Life, like living, like as in life itself. This is the verb for it, chaya. Like I'm breathing, I'm living, like I'm alive. Chaya. All right, to live. Chaya meaning to live. So if I'm trying to tell someone like, yes, I'm alive, I live, I would use the word chaya. All right, chaya. You wouldn't really use this as in I'm living somewhere. Like that's not that type of live. All right. The verb for that would be, you would use more so like dwell, like to stay somewhere. But you wouldn't use this as in I live here. A different type of live. To live meaning to actually like to be alive, breathing and well and things like that. Chaya. Chaya. Like life itself. Chaya. Chaya. All right, chaya, meaning to live, chaya. All right, chaya, meaning to live. All right, next. We will get halal. Remember, you want to remember as many verbs as possible. The more verbs you know, the more sentences you can create, and the more fluent in the language you will become. All right, keep that in consideration. All right, keep that in consideration. You want to learn as many verbs as you can. What you want to do is memorize all 100 verbs. All right, you want to try to remember all 100 verbs to the best of your ability. All right. All right. You want to be able to go in order from whatever all the way down, like abad, akal, lamar, asap, things like that, aha. You want to be able to do something like that, halal. Be like bayan, bakhar, bana, bakwash. You want to try to remember these verbs and their meanings to heart. Halal meaning to halal. Halal meaning to what? Halal. Try to remember what halal means. Let's see. We got finished with halal, to not to err. Halal, to not to seize. What is halal? Salakia. Halal. Halal, to pierce. Like to pierce. Got the best of me. Halal, meaning to pierce. Alright, I kept on having halal in my head. Halal, meaning to pierce. So now you have halal. Halal, meaning to pierce. Like you pierce something. Like I take this right here and I pierce you with it. Or I pierce your ear with it. Halal. Halal will be the word being used. This is your ha, your la, and your la. Your ha and your la and your la. Halal. Halal, meaning to pierce. Halal, meaning to pierce. So if you want to pierce something, you would say halal. I want to halal you. Or I want to halal that. Whatever the case may be, it would be pierce. Halal, meaning to pierce. Halal, meaning to pierce. All right. Let's get the next one. Let's get Haggah. Let's get Haggah. Remember, these are in order too. These are in alphabetical order according to the Hebrew alphabet. All right. Haggah. All right. Haggah. Haggah. Meaning camp. Chaga, meaning to camp or camp. Chaga. Chaka, chaga. It's like it. Chaga, meaning to camp. This is your ha, this is your ga, this is your ha. This is your ha, this is your ga, this is your ha. Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga, meaning to camp. Alright, Chaga, meaning to camp. Alright, so Chaga, meaning to camp. Now, let me explain. Alright, you can use this, okay, this word can be universal. Alright, but, okay, first I want to teach you about what it means to camp in the Bible. Alright, and this is where camping comes from. Camping was always militant and military first. Camping was never really how we do camping now for our leisure. Alright, you know, going out in the wilderness and trying to survive. Like it was really military first. It comes from also our culture. Like to camp out somewhere is Israelite culture, because when we were in the wilderness and while we were strangers in the land of Canaan, right, during the time of Abraham, we would camp in places. We would set up our tents in different places throughout the land. Like it was a part of our culture to camp. And we have a military background. We were a very militant people. So when you always camped out, you would be camped out somewhere in a particular area, waiting to attack or waiting to be attacked, whatever the case may be. That's where the camp comes from. Now, can you use the word to camp, meaning like I'm going to go camp? And it could be just like, you know, maybe a water camp trip or out in the forest. Yes, you can. But I just wanted to break down the history of to camp according to the Bible. It has a military background to it, a militant background to it due to our culture. So if you want to say I'm going to camp, like Chaga, like as in how we go to camp in the Isupk, right? Staking out, being on the corner, teaching to our people, same word. Same word being used. Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga. Even if you're talking about when coming within the camp, meaning within the group of people that camped out in the wilderness or somewhere together, like after the Israelites left Egypt. Same word, Chaga. Alright, Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga. Alright? Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga. This is a common word being used, especially from Genesis to Deuteronomy, talking about the camp this and the camp that and you know, all that stuff. Alright, Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga. Chaga. Chaga, meaning to camp. Chaga. To camp. Chaga. Next, what we're going to get is Chashab. I like this one, Chashab. I like it a lot. Chashab. I'm going to explain why. Chashab. 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 Let's see. Khashab. 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 Khashab, meaning to think. Khashab, meaning to think. Khashab. Khashab. This is your kha. This is your sha. This is your ba. Khashab. This is your kha. This is your sha. This is your ba. Khashab. Khashab, meaning to think. Khashab, meaning to think. So if you are trying to think about something, and you have something on your mind, and you're thinking about it, the word khashab is what you would use. Khashab. Khashab. Remember the kha. Khashab. Khashab. Khashab, meaning to think. So if I'm thinking, I would be like, I'm khashab. I'm saying I'm thinking. Now, of course, when we get back into verb conjugations, you will learn how to say it in the present, in the past, and in the future. But this is khashab. All right, khashab meaning to think. So khashab meaning you are a thinker, or you are thinking, or you, whatever the case may be, is pronounced khashab. Remember the kha, khashab. All right, khashab. All right, does anybody have any questions? We're going to stop there for tonight's class. We're going to stop at khashab, because after khashab we get into another bracket of going in alphabetical order. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Khashab, meaning to think. Khashab, meaning to think. All right, khashab. All right, khashab. Khashab, meaning to think. Khashab. All right, you're thinking about something. Khashab. All right, what you want to do is remember as many verbs as you can. All right, remember as many verbs as you can. The more verbs that you get and you understand, the more you remember, the more sentences you can structure. The more you can be like, you can be like, I'm thinking, Ane Khawashab. I'm thinking about a book, Ane Khawashab Lashawan. All right, whatever the case may be. All right, I'm thinking about a book. Whatever the case may be, khashab, meaning to think. Khawashab, all I did was conjugate the verb. Y'all thinking. I would be like, khawashabim. Atham khawashabim. Okay? Y'all thinking. All I did was conjugate the verb there. But you want to learn as many verbs as you want, and the meaning behind it, the more you know, the better off when it comes to when we get into conjugating verbs, we can structure more sentences, and we can be more in tune with each other. And I want you guys to stay in these classes as much as possible, because I want to be in tune. We want to be in tune with each other so we can bounce off and learn from each other, so we can literally learn this language together. Like, that's brotherhood. Like, this is what comes into establishing the nation of Israel. Like, this is a part of the kingdom of heaven. Like, we don't want to forget one of the most important parts is taking back our culture. Like, that's the purpose of the kingdom of heaven. And we're going to be teaching our culture. This is our culture. This is our language. The Lashawan Qadash, the holy tongue. Alright? With that, that'll be the class. Let's give a courteous salute to the brothers. Alright? We're going to give a courteous salute to the brothers. Men of Israel. Aman Shabbat. Amadi. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Al-Athar Ba'ashim Yahushua. It's like Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Bakatham. Yadi Matah. Sar like walking, which means turn and face the sisters. Salakia, I was trying to skip ahead. That ain't good. Salakia. Alright. Men of Israel. We're going to give a courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel. Madam Shabbat. Amadi. Barak. Yahweh Shamar Al-Athar Ba'ashim Yahushua. Yadi Matah. With that, class dismissed.